is sponsored by Rogue Marketing. For 15 years specializing in business video marketing, websites, search engine optimization, Google Ads, and graphic design. www.roguemarketing.com, located with Sac TV at Bioport Mall in Schenectady.
Welcome back to the Chapters Wrap here. I'm so excited because we have Rene, LaRoux, the Executive Director and Founder of the New York State Baseball Hall of Fame since 2010. This is a great day for me, so welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you so much. Glad to be here.
Yeah, talk about your work and the passion behind finding everything in 2010.
Well, Cooperstown is a close drive from here, and I've been there many times. And it's so hard to be inducted into Cooperstown, and it's very subjective. It's sports writer vote. And several people that I know, said, why isn't there a New York State Baseball Hall of Fame? And since we do a Basketball Hall of Fame, they wanted me to do the Baseball Hall of Fame. So I said, it's a great idea. There's a great legacy of baseball in New York State. So we started it in 2010, and it's been a knockout success from day one.
Well, talk about your professional journey before that point. Have you always been a baseball fan?
Always been a baseball fan. Was one of the founders of the baseball program at Skidmore College in Saratoga, which is a D3 school. And, played growing up, was a left-hand pitcher with no fastball. So
I was a right-hand pitcher with no fastball. So.
My career wasn't going to go anywhere, but the love of the game persisted, and I've always been involved in the game, loved it. It's a great experience. Take children to the ballpark, family experience, and so much legacy about the game, right, dating so far back. And I didn't want to get lost, and especially the history of New York State.
In New York State, that's so important because you have two baseball teams, and obviously the Mets went through some transition back in the 60s, and the Brooklyn Dodgers and the New York Giants. So the history of New York baseball up until this point is terrific.
The New York Giants, which are now the San Francisco Giants, were first the Troy Highlanders in Troy, New York, and they had players like King Kelly and many other players that it was always very successful here. And now, of course, there is a Houston Astro affiliate, the Tri-City Valley Cats, that play at Hudson Valley Community College, and it's a beautiful park, so we still have a great presence of minor league ball. Years ago, we had Heritage Park near Albany Airport, where the Yankees had a farm team, right, and Derek Jeter and Guidry, and they all came through Heritage Park and Colony.
Wow, that's great. Before we get to all the recent stuff with baseball, for our young viewers out there, the Brooklyn Dodgers and New York Giants moved almost the exact same time to the West Coast in New York. That must have been a really difficult time for people to deal with.
Our biggest award in our Hall of Fame is the Johnny Padres Lifetime Achievement Award. Padres was from upstate New York, north of Glens Falls, and Padres won Game 7 of the 55 World Series. It was the first time the Brooklyn Dodgers beat the Yankees in 7 tries. Padres was 21 years old. There was a little-known teammate named Sandy Koufax who was on that roster who hadn't pitched, and he hadn't yet found his command of the fastball. But Padres, being from upstate New York, was maybe one of the biggest Brooklyn Dodger stars ever, because he won Game 7 when he beat the Yankees 2-0 in a game that Mickey Mantle did not play. And Padres, who lived in Glens Falls after his retirement, I asked him one day, was he nervous? And he said that they had brought him the lineup card in the clubhouse before the game. And he looked and he saw no Mickey Mantle in the lineup. And his ears perked up and he said, "Oh, that's a big relief. I don't have to face Mickey." Because he said Mickey was tremendous.
Right. That's amazing. So when it started up in 2010, did you get the support from Major League Baseball?
We pretty much, yes. They were on board with this, right away. We asked them to do a certain number of things for us, and they were willing to and happy to do so. And the teams were all very compliant and very happy. Each major league team thinks of their team as a family.
Right.
So when we induct an alumni, and I call them and say, we're going to induct Crowley Shamsky, they view him as a family member. And they all, it's wonderful the way they treat their alumni players. So all the teams have been really wonderful. You know, Yankees and Mets, Red Sox, Reds, Dodgers, all completely cognizant of their heritage to the game.
Well, take us behind the scenes. What goes in part of the selection process of your committee?
We have a board of advisors, 3 of which are former Major League players. And, you know, we get phone calls or emails, and there'll be a nomination of a player or a coach or an umpire or somebody who has a legacy to the game. And, you know, we circulate that name among the board, and we talk and, you know, think about, you know, where they are in the greater picture of things. And we probably will have anywhere from 80 to 100 nominations a year. We pare that down and we come to a level of 10 to 12, 13, 14 people.
Wow, wow.
Including Buffalo, Syracuse, Rochester, Utica, Long Island, Manhattan,
okay.
Kingston, Poughkeepsie, you know, the whole state.
Right. So if you could walk back to that first year, do you remember the first event? I mean, that whole process must have been so exciting for you, for the players, and for the community.
It really was. You know, our first rock star inductee was a guy named Ralph Branca, who pitched and threw the ball that Bobby Thompson hit, which is called the shot heard round the world, which is really the first televised baseball game that was seen throughout the whole country. Branca wore number 13, a number I would never wear, but and he came with his wife, Ann, who were married a long time. When Ralph grew up, he grew up on a golf course. When the family sold the home, Kenny Singleton's dad bought it. So Ken Singleton's family grew up in Ralph Branca's house.
Oh, wow.
But when Ralph came, he sang God Bless America in perfect voice. He was in his 80s, and God bless him, he passed away a few years ago, but when he came that year, he was really a gracious gentleman, and he was nice to all the attendees and guests and fans, signed autographs for everyone, and he really put us on the map.
Wow. Before naming this year's nominees and honorees, walk us through some people, some players that stand out for you over the last couple of years.
Eddie Kranepool for the Mets, real gentleman, an original Met, went from James Monroe High School right to the Mets, which is almost unheard of now.
And he's struggling medically right now.
Struggling, he's waiting for a kidney transplant, but still in great spirits.
Right.
Great guy. Willie Randolph, John Franco, Frank Viola, Kenny Singleton. One of my favorites is a Red Sox player named Rico Petrocelli, who grew up in the Bronx and wanted to play for the Yankees, and they didn't want him, so the Red Sox took him.
Right.
You know, Lou Whitaker, longtime Detroit Tigers second baseman.
Played with Alan Trammell.
Played with Alan Trammell for many, many years. Trammell just got selected to Cooperstown. We hope Lou will also following suit.
Well, that was one of the greatest double play combos in that era.
Willie Randolph, Whitaker, and Frank White were 3 of the best second basemen ever. You know, we've been thrilled. This last year we inducted Keith Hernandez and his broadcast partner Gary Cohen. And they are just fabulous guys. They were thrilled. And each of these inductees, when they come, to them in their mind it is Cooperstown. It is their day in the sun. We've been sold out every event, and we don't even really try and sell tickets, but they sell quickly. This last year was special because we inducted Billy Martin, and who I think should also be in Cooperstown someday.
Should be. And George Steinbrenner.
Absolutely. So we talked to Martin's family, and Billy Martin Jr. said, "Gee, I have to call my friend David. You know, he's going to be excited." It turned out that David was David Mantle, Mickey's son. And Billy called back and said, "I have a favor. David would like Mickey to be inducted into your Hall of Fame with Billy." Because they're best friends. So I said, consider it done. So both David Mantle and Billy came, along with Billy's widow, Jill Martin. And their videos, speeches are on our website. But they were phenomenal. They were wonderful people, gracious, polite, you know, legendary Yankee stars. And it was a great year this year with Keith and Gary. And the other fellow that, you know, made that this year special was Ron Swoboda from the '69 Mets, who He's now a broadcaster for the New Orleans Zephyrs in New Orleans.
Okay.
This is the 50th year anniversary of the Miracle Mets in '69.
That's right.
And he made a famous catch to save a game
Yes.
in pretty much the World Series. And someone asked him, Ron, how long are you going to continue to live off that one catch? And he said, how long do I have?
Yeah.
So it was a fabulous catch. And I asked him, personally, did you think you were going to catch the ball? He goes, not even remote. I just stuck my glove up and the ball ended up in the glove. He goes, I never thought for a minute I was going to catch it.
The show you are watching has been produced by SACC.TV. Sac TV is a not-for-profit organization that provides educational programming, seeking to enrich communities by producing shows on culture, science, health, the arts, and more. Sac TV is member-driven, which means that we rely on donations, grants, underwriting, and volunteers to deliver quality content. Sac.TV has been in operation continually since 1974 and currently operates a full-time studio in Rotterdam, New York. In recent years, Sac.TV has produced over 500 community-driven programs that are all available to view free to the public on www.sac.tv, on demand 24 hours a day. Sac.tv also airs shows on local television, channels such as WNYT, My4 Albany, with programs like Do You Know the Muffin Man, Caught in the Crossfire, Scene TV, Tune Into Wellness Today, and The Janice Thompson Show. Check your local programming schedule or www.sac.tv for times and dates. In Sac.tv's mission to connect and inform communities and individuals, every week we're producing new shows. To be able to provide this service, we are in need of your help. There's a lot of ways you can help Sac.tv and in turn help your community. Visit www.sac.tv. There you can click on Donate and select the contribution level of your choice. You can also help Sac.tv by sponsoring an ongoing program, volunteering behind the scenes, or even producing your own show. And as always, if you enjoy what you've seen, visit us on YouTube and Facebook. Subscribe, like, share, and pass the word around. For more information and to see the latest shows, visit www.sac.tv or contact us as director@sac.tv or by phone at 518-831-9145. For now, back to our program, and stay tuned for more great shows.
Been a Willie Randolph guy. He's from Brooklyn, right? So, and he doesn't have a job right now. Why do you think that is?
I think he will. I think he's in the Yankee family. I think he'll be in the broadcast booth or a coach or an advisor. He still does functions for the Yankees. He goes to spring training, and I think he will be.
Okay. So let's talk this year, because you have an incredible lineup. And one of my good friends, I produce his play, we co-host the show together, Rene. I mean,
we're thrilled about this year, and Billy Martin, his wife and son, widow and son, nominated Thurman Munson to go in this year. Jill Martin and Diana are very close, and so the board unanimously voted to induct Thurman. And then I had met Ron Guidry before. Guidry was his battery mate, and so it was a natural extension to put Ron in with Thurman. And then, we knew that Bobby Mercer, who passed away a few years ago, was Thurman's best friend.
right.
So he was also in the loop. And then one of the people who came to the dinner last year suggested Gene Monahan,
Right.
who was, we have never inducted a trainer before. and he was there forever. And
Right.
you know, in the locker room, in the clubhouse, wonderful guy, and he is a very deserving. People like Gene Monahan put as much time in
Right.
as anybody,
Right.
and then of course it came to Ray, because Ray, his whole life has been in the Yankee organization. He's been vital and instrumental to the Yankees in many ways. And so when we got to Gene, we thought, you know, Ray would be a great pick
Right.
because of his relationship with George Steinbrenner, his relationship with Thurman, Reggie Jackson,
Right.
some of the other players, Billy Martin, all of whom had tremendous respect for Ray.
Right.
So, you know, when we looked into Ray, we saw Bat Boy, we saw the play, we thought, what a fantastic thing is
Right.
to reach a whole other group of people,
Right.
to bring baseball to families and kids in a theater format,
Right.
which I think Damn Yankees was done in the 60s or
Right.
50s, but there hasn't really been anything relevant since then.
Correct.
And Ray's story is compelling
Right.
on a personal level in his life, and also as it relates to Thurman and Reggie and Billy at a time when New York baseball was vividly exciting.
Oh, definitely, no doubt, in the 70s. Well, that we're going to be doing little shows along the way before the November 3rd event, and Ray Negron will be the first one we're going to spotlight. So it's exciting to kind of hear those stories. But Thurman Munson, to have Dan Munson there and Kay Mercer there, it's going to be a special emotional night because it's 40 years since Thurman's passing.
Exactly 40 years, which is something that we were happy to celebrate this, and we're going to celebrate his life and his
Right.
career. And, you know, Ray is great because Ray was right there on the inside of everything. And as a peacemaker, as a friend to their children, as a friend to their families. And Ray brings Thurman and Bobby back to life.
Right, right. And you have Cato Louisiana Lighting. He was like, one year he was, 25-3?
25 and
1978, they went to the World Series. He came up at an older age, 27, because if he came up younger, he'd definitely be in the Hall of Fame.
I asked Ron, I said, did Billy call pitches? And he said, Rene, of course not. Thurman called all the pitches.
Right.
And I said, did you ever shake Thurman off? And he sort of shook his head in disgust, and he said, Rene, nobody ever shook Thurman off. Whatever Thurman put down was what we threw.
Right.
How do we deal with the turmoil and trouble we are faced with every day? How do we find the personal strength to move our lives forward against the many headwinds that seem to conspire against us? It isn't a secret, it's simply a journey, and that's life. Our goal is to help you map out your personal path to a complete concept of who you are and want to be. The thing is, this project requires money. We can't do it without help. So we're going to reward your support with access to a variety of sources and provide discounts on programs. Go to www.communitymediaservice.com and send us $20 to make the initial friend list, or give $50 and you'll be placed on the special friend list for ongoing benefits. Help us make this happen. Help yourself, help others. Join us on this special project. Go to www.communitymediaservice.com and click your choice, either $20 or $50, and stay tuned for more.
Who else is going to be inducted this year?
Art Shamsky,
Yes.
who was Swoboda's platoon mate in right field for the 69 Mets. Swoboda and Shamsky have both come out with new books this year as a 50th anniversary of the Mets winning the Miracle Mets in 69. Ron Darling,
Okay.
who was a Met pitcher in 86 when they beat the Red Sox in an incredible comeback. And we have some other people that we're still considering. We have other inductees that aren't major league people, that are college or high school coaches, long-term high school coaches that have won state championships. And we're really thrilled with the lineup that we have.
Talking this week off air, you were mentioning how John Sterling really took over the night when he was here.
What a wonderful voice he has.
Right.
And once you start to fall in love with him, you really want to listen to him.
Right.
And he's been in the game for so long, and his anecdotes are very entertaining. And when he came up, I didn't realize he's 80 years old.
Right.
And he has 3 children that are at college.
Right.
And John is such a gentleman and a great ambassador for the Yankees. And he was the rock star of the year that he got inducted. We gave John the Johnny Padres Lifetime Achievement Award that year.
Very nice.
And Sandy Koufax had got it 2 years ago. And so it's our highlight, presentation for the evening.
A lot of young people don't know. John Sterling was doing the Islander games. He went over to Atlanta. I think they had Hawk games, basketball.
Atlanta Hawks
Came back to New York and has been the Yankees' voice
and
for all
I
these
don't
years.
think he's missed a game in 30 years.
No.
He has not taken a sick day or vacation in 30 years.
No, it is truly amazing, the lineup. But you also, what I love about your event, you give each player or each honoree a platform to talk about their experiences in baseball, but maybe other things as well. So that's really a really special part of the night.
Frank Viola got in with Dennis Leonard a few years ago, and Frank Viola got up and said, "I'm so thrilled because I had never met Dennis Leonard before." And he said, growing up on the island, Dennis Leonard pitched for Kansas City in the 70s when they banged against the Yankees. And he said, if we knew that Dennis Leonard could make the major leagues, we knew we could.
Right.
And he paid great tribute to him. And then he said, ladies and gentlemen, if you have a child playing sports, growing up, at whatever age, please make sure they play more than one sport.
Right.
If they play baseball, have them ski or play tennis or bowling. If you have them play one sport, they will burn out.
Right.
But if they play more than one sport, it's the love of sports, competition in general. They won't be all in and just get overloaded.
Right.
Especially today now with like AAU travel sports. A baseball player can play 80 or 90 games a summer. It's a lot of baseball.
It's funny that you bring up Dennis Leonard, because Dennis Leonard, I don't know him, but he went to Oceanside High School in Long Island. I went to Island Park as a little kid. His mother, this is funny you bring him up, this is a true story. His mother was a crossing guard for Island Park. So when the Yankees and Royals were in the playoffs, those heated battles, the mother would say, because she would cross us across the street, it's a neighboring town. She would say, "Oh, the Royals are going to win tonight." We'd say the Yankees are going to win tonight. But we knew that was Dennis Leonard's mother, so we used to bring all the Dennis Leonard baseball cards to her to give to him. He was a great pitcher. You mentioned him.
Great pitcher, and I want to say that each and every one of the inductees that have come up has been a real gentleman.
Right.
But really thrilled. They when we honor them, they get to reflect upon their careers, and it's not all home runs and wins.
Right.
We did John Flaherty, Flash,
Right.
who was in the Yankee broadcast booth. We did Lee Mazzilli, who was one of the best speed skaters in the country at age 15.
Oh, wow.
And he had a chance to go to the Olympics or to baseball, and he decided to commit to baseball. He was a tremendous speed skater.
Wow.
Used to win nationwide meets. He was phenomenal.
Wow.
So we've had, umpires. Tom Hallion got in last year. C.B. Buckner the year before. And these guys are really good guys. I've been really thrilled. A couple years ago, we had B.J. Surhoff and Walt Weiss from downstate. We had Sean Dunston.
Okay.
Dunston was the #1 draft pick.
Shortstop. Right?
Shortstop, and he got traded to the Mets. And that year we inducted Omar Minaya, who was the first Hispanic executive general manager in baseball. And so Minaya calls Sean to say, "We just traded for you. You're a Met now." And Omar's telling the story at his induction to the audience. He said, Sean said, "Omar, I'm not coming. I don't want to play for the Mets." And that's it. So he hung up the phone, goes home, tells his dad he got traded to the Mets, and I'm not going. And his dad goes, "Oh, you're going. You're reporting to the Mets tomorrow." He goes, "I'm going to tell you about another player who got traded to the Mets by the name of Willie Mays." And he showed up. Wow. So Willie Mays reported to the Mets. You're reporting to the Mets.
Wow.
Called Omar back the next day and said, "I'm coming."
That's great. I was going through this program. It is a beautiful program, and it's highlighted with a lot of the history and the bios of each player, but it's a lot of sponsors and things like this. What does it take to get one of these out there like this?
We have a local company that does all our work, graphic artist, the whole team, and it's 3 or 4 months' work to assemble this. Each inductee sends us a 1 to 2 page bio or stories that they want to be in this magazine, and it's supported by Rawlings Baseball, New Era hats, some local firms, Major League Baseball. So, this is our flagship piece, and we're proud of it. It's a coffee table piece. It's not just a magazine for the evening. It's something to keep and look at.
Wow, it's beautiful. We're almost out of time, but who are some people you'd like to thank, behind the scenes or in the front line of this whole event?
CSEA, Civil Service Employees Association, one of the largest labor organizations in the state, has been a willing and supportive sponsor from day one. And without them, quite frankly, we might not have been able to do this. Martin, Harding and Mazzati, a law firm, Brown and Weinrob, another law firm, have been instrumental. Berkshire Bank is a flagship sponsor of ours. So they all have been on board with this from day one, and we thank them so much.
That's great. Now, how can people get a hold of you? Can they attend the event? Do you need any support, additional sponsors? How does it all work?
We can be reached. Our website is www.nysbhof.com, which is the acronym for New York State Baseball Hall of Fame. Or you could just punch in New York State Baseball Hall of Fame on Google. It'll direct you to our website. Our phone number is on there. Tickets can be purchased for the event for $75 a piece. We will sell out. We don't sell tickets at the door. We're sold out long before that.
Okay. And again, explain to everybody when it's going to be and where it's going to be.
November 3rd, Sunday, at the Hilton Hotel in Troy, New York.
Okay. It's going to be a wonderful night. And what I love about it, too, because all the players and the families congregate the day or two before, so you get to really socialize with these guys.
We have a great night before at the hotel, and the night of the event, when it's over, we go back into the recovery room lounge and tell baseball stories until they kick us out.
Wow.
Until it closes.
Well, this is exciting. I can't wait to hear each segment, each show about each player and honoree that's going to be there on November 3rd. Rene, LaRoux, thank you so much, sir. This has been a true honor to be with you.
Thank
and
you
I look
so
forward
much.
to working with you in the future.
Excellent. Thank you.
All right. Stay with us on the Chapters Wrap.